When's the last time that you saw a remake of a film? Do you remember not liking it? Was it because the characters weren't as well developed as the original characters? Or was it because you knew you wouldn't like the film before you left for the theater? The false assumption that remakes are going to be terrible movies is exactly what causes us to not like the remakes we see and talk bad about them to younger people who could be inspired by those movies. Kids need the inspiration that comes from remakes of movies because they need the combination of new ideas brought by the creators of the films, as well as the traditional ideas in those films. The false assumption that a movie is going to be bad when it's a remake comes from the nostalgic memories that are embedded in us when we see the original film. For example, although they aren't remakes in their own right, the Star Wars prequels, even if they were just prequels, were watched by me with my father, and he told me that they were atrocious, but I remember liking them when I was younger. Although I look back and I see that they weren't the gems that I thought they were definitely better in terms of special effects and in terms of character costuming and set design than the original movies. Nostalgia does not make a better movie. Alternatively, when I saw a trailer last year for a live-action Cinderella movie, I refused to watch it because it's a remake of the Disney animated movie. But my friends went and saw it without me and informed me that it was really good. And they said to me, "Corey, why didn't you go see it?" And I said, "Well, because it's a remake of an animated movie." And they said, "Corey, this movie is live action. The original Cinderella was animated, and that was based off an ancient fairy tale." So, that was also a good point. In retrospect, I see that it wasn't exactly a remake, technically. And also, it did have new ideas that were original and were incorporated into the story to make an entirely new fairy tale. So I still haven't seen it, but I'm much more interested in it now. Also, on top of all that, studios and movie theaters need to make money. And the old ideas are sort of an investment towards newer, more creative ideas that are given to writers that could become the next Best Picture or Best Screenplay at the Oscars. Ultimately, you can still enjoy and learn from remakes if you choose to. And if you choose to stay inside your nostalgic shell, every remake you see will just be another horrible movie that wastes your money and your time. However, just because a movie is a remake doesn't mean it's always going to be terrible. And a movie doesn't have to be a remake to be terrible. There are terrible movies that come out all the time that are brand new ideas. So just perhaps the next time you see a remake, you just might learn something as long as you open your mind.